So if you've watched any of my previous videos before, you'll understand my fascination with fire towers, and you may have even seen a lot of the fire towers I visited out west. But in a recent video, I pondered the idea of traveling around Alabama and visiting the still standing fire towers we have here in the state. Now, I'm not sure of a single fire tower in Alabama that is still in use, as I guess forest fires were no longer a concern in Alabama. But to my surprise, I did find a resource online that has lookouts, and specifically this one has Alabama lookouts, and there are quite a few, to my surprise, still in Alabama. So I used this resource to find some towers that were close by and some things that I've never visited before. So I got on the bike and decided to get out and ride and test this format and see if it's something that's not only interesting to me, but maybe interesting to some of you guys. Anyway, I started out on this great road that was a road that I've ridden several times, and it was a couple of things I needed to do today. One was to do a shakedown test of my motorcycle. I've recently done some repairs, and I had a few leaks, and I just wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to ride this thing confidently in the woods without having to get a tow out of the deep woods, which could be really expensive or at least really troublesome. So like I said, I got on my bike and rode some fantastic roads to get to the first fire tower. And this is a road that I ride all the time. It's a road that goes back in some mining communities in between Birmingham and Brookwood. I don't like riding my smaller dual sport motorcycle on the interstates. I much prefer roads like this to ride. So this is typically the kind of riding I do, at least on the street. And I like the curves, and I like twisty, scenic roads with no people. And this turned out to be a pretty good ride. Like I said, I've been down this road many times, and I've never seen a fire tower on this road, so I was anxious to see it. It did not look like there was a fire tower on Google Maps, at least the satellite view. I couldn't really see that there was one, but there was a picture of this tower on the website that I was using to find it, and there was a comment below that said the current owner of the property wants the tower to be removed. So I was a little bit disappointed when I arrived and did not see a tower. I saw the radio tower on the right side of the road, and here it's the left, and I didn't see the tower where it was supposed to be, which was coming the other way. It was on the left. But I wanted to make sure, so I pulled into this driveway. All I could see was goats in the back. I don't know if you could see those back into the driveway here, but I did not see any fire tower, but it did look like a square place, maybe where a platform had been. But I did see a tower technician. Used to be an old fire tower right there.
Yes, there was one.
How long has it been gone?
Oh, been gone, I don't know, a couple, 2 or 3 years now.
They took it down, or it just fell?
No, it got bought and took down and put back up down in Utah.
Utah, Alabama. I'll be damned. Anywhere in particular that you know of?
At Mike Stanley's house.
What's the guy's name?
Mike Stanley.
Mike Stanley. That's good to know. That's worth a trip to Utah.
He owns, if you're going back out 216, you go out of Brookwood, headed towards Cottondale, on the right, after you go over the first viaduct, the long straightaway, he owns Warrior Services on the right.
Okay, cool.
He owns that, and he's got a farm down there, and he bought it had it took down, moved down there, and put back up on his farm.
I wonder what he paid for it. Maybe I'd go find out from him. That's an interesting story in itself.
Yeah.
I saw it online, and I was like, I ride this road all the time. I never noticed the damn thing.
You sit right over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's still standing in the picture, and
You sit right over there for years.
and it said the current owner wants it to be removed. And I was like, well, let me go down there before he.
That was that, and yeah, I don't know how old the article was, but he got it.
Yeah, that's very
He
interesting.
got it, moved it down there, and stuck it all back up, run power to it.
That's awesome.
He got about 400 acres down there, and he got it up on it.
They're coming down pretty quick out here. I don't think that there's a single one in use in Alabama anymore.
I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. That's the only one I remember seeing around here. Was that one.
Warrior Services.
Warrior Services on the right.
I'm gonna go talk to that guy.
Long straightaway before you get to Rocky Branch, the old gas station.
Yep.
That long straightaway right there on the right, leaving out of here.
How awesome was it that I ran into you? Thanks, man.
So since my first tower visit was not a total failure, but I didn't get a chance to see a tower, I got back on the bike and rode to the next tower, which is on the other side of Tuscaloosa County. And turns out this one was at the back of someone's private property, a house. And there's a lot of private property in Alabama. We're not as lucky as the West to have all this public land, but it's hard to tell if the towers are on private property or public property. It appears that this thing is still in control of the Alabama Forest Service, but it's really hard to tell. I was traveling obviously on a private driveway to get up to the forest gate, but who knows after that. I did park here and have a chance to get off and take a few pictures, but it was a good ride out here anyway. And that's part of what I'm doing, is just trying to find an excuse to get out and ride and dabble in one of my other passions, which is fire towers. I would love to crawl up in this thing, but some of these things are so rotten. The stairs are typically made out of wood, and they don't last more than 30-40 years before they start falling in. But this was a pretty good example of a rusted fire tower. This is the cab. That's what they call the boxes, the houses at the top. They call them a cab. And obviously it's got some pretty hefty radio antennas up there. This thing probably hasn't been in use for 40 or 50 years. Anyways, it was a good stop. It was a good ride out in the country. And it appears that all these fire towers are going to be on tops of mountains, which probably means that there's some good riding to and from on ridge roads, which are pretty spectacular most of the time from my experience. But still toying with the format here. I'm not really sure how to make this as interesting to you guys as it is to me, but I'm going to continue. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments.
My first day searching, so I guess I shouldn't be too disappointed. I've done almost no research except looking on maps and reading just a little bit. I'm not sure whether to expect more towers that are still owned by the state or more that are owned by private people, because it looks like there's a lot that are out here that are in private hands, and I'm not sure which is better even. I'm hoping maybe, well, I'm not real worried about the Forest Service. I'm not going out there to set fire to it. I'm not climbing it. Well, if I found one in good shape, who knows. But I'm not worried about the Forest Service prosecuting me for exploring some abandoned property, but I am very concerned about a property owner. Like in this case, this guy may just decide to take his shotgun out and take a shot at me for being in his yard. I hope not. So I don't know which one to expect to be a better outcome, but so far, one very interesting story this morning, and I hope this guy follows up with me, and I hope I get to talk to him, maybe go down to see his place in Utah, Alabama. That would be cool. And the gnats are killing me out here. I gotta keep rolling. All right.